Breaking news. Ukraine gets more MiG-29s to crush Russian defense. It is Sunday, January 25, 2026, and the air war in Eastern Europe has just reached a critical turning point. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex. Join me with Aria in the latest podcast by Defense Report for sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today, we're going to cover the Polish pipeline.
It sounds almost industrial, doesn't it? But what we're really looking at is the confirmation that Poland is finalizing the transfer of its last batch of MiG-29s to Ukraine.
Its last batch.
The very last. We're talking about up to 9 jets moving east.
And before you click away thinking, oh great, more old Soviet metal, you really need to hear what we've got in this stack of reports today. We have SBU intelligence briefs, industrial analysis, some pretty wild satellite imagery.
Tells a much bigger story.
Much bigger story. Because these aren't just rust buckets being pushed out of a hangar.
Far from it. In this deep dive, we're going to uncover the Franken-Fulcrum engineering that has turned these legacy jets into something that is, frankly, baffling Russian radar.
Okay, Franken-Fulcrum, I like that.
And we're going to look at a secret ghost fleet from Azerbaijan that just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, it's a story straight out of a spy novel. And then there's a number that should terrify the Kremlin. $4 billion.
$4 billion. That's the price tag of Russian air defense systems destroyed in just the last 12 months.
It's a staggering figure. And by the end of this, you're going to understand how a jet that predates the internet is blinding Russia's most advanced sensors.
Leaving their industrial heartland wide open. It's a classic David and Goliath story, but with, a lot more high explosives.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. The Polish deal. It's official, but the analysts are calling it a symmetrical partnership. That's weird phrasing, isn't it?
It is unusual, and it's deliberate. Usually these are one-way streets, A NATO country gives hardware, Ukraine says thank you. But this deal is a trade. Ukraine isn't just getting a handout, they are paying with information. Specifically, combat-proven drone technology and electronic warfare data.
Okay, but combat-proven is a bit of a buzzword. What are they actually sending? Blueprints.
It's much deeper. My notes here say Ukraine is sharing the specific frequency hopping algorithms they use to bypass Russian jamming.
Wow.
You have to realize Poland is watching the same adversary. They need to know how to defeat Russian EW today, not in some theoretical war game.
So Ukraine is providing real-time, blood-bought data on how Russian jammers work.
And how to beat them. That's intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Poland literally cannot get in peacetime. It turns the relationship into a strategic alliance.
It makes sense. It's like Ukraine has graduated from student to teacher. But I have to play devil's advocate. It's 2026. We've been talking F-16s for years. Why is the MiG-29 still such a big deal?
On a spec sheet, yeah, the F-16 is better radar, better everything. But wars aren't fought on spreadsheets. They're fought with logistics and time.
And the bottleneck isn't the jets, it's the pilots.
Exactly. You can't just throw a MiG pilot into an F-16 cockpit and say, good luck.
The muscle memory is completely different.
Completely. The controls, the handling, everything. Training a pilot to be combat effective in an F-16 can take, 8 to 18 months?
And Ukraine doesn't have 18 months.
They have pilots right now with thousands of hours in the MiG-29. They can take these Polish jets, maybe slap a coat of paint on them, and have them in a fight the same afternoon.
That's the difference between a weapon on a wish list and a weapon on the front line.
And they are using them as what some are calling a frontline wrecking ball.
I love that. But hold on, before we get to that, there's this piece about the ghost fleet. This I found fascinating.
Oh, this is the detail that aviation nerds are going crazy over.
So we've seen these photos on OSIN accounts, MiG-29s with this weird gray-blue camouflage, and everyone's saying, wait, that's not Ukrainian.
And it's not Polish, no. Those jets belong to Azerbaijan. It's this whole Azerbaijani-Lviv nexus thing.
How does that even happen?
Before the full-scale invasion, Azerbaijan sent a bunch of their MiGs to the Lviv State Aircraft Repair Plant for modernization.
And then the war started, and they got stranded.
Exactly. And for a long time, they just sat there. But as the need for airframes became critical, Ukraine, let's just say they requisitioned them.
Is that even legal? I mean, Azerbaijan has a complex relationship with Russia. That sounds like a diplomatic mess.
It's a gray area, for sure. But in a war for national survival, legal niceties, they tend to take a back seat. They found a secret reserve of fighters sitting in their own backyard.
Finders keepers on a national scale. Okay, so they have the airframes, Polish jets, ghost jets. But here's where I get skeptical. You have a 1980s analog jet. how do you get it to fire a modern American smart bomb?
That is the Franken-Fulcrum challenge. And you're right, it shouldn't work. The MiG-29 lacks a NATO standard digital data bus. It literally speaks a different language from the bomb.
So the plane's computer can't tell the bomb where the target is.
Correct. So instead of ripping out the whole cockpit, which would take months, Ukrainian engineers built a workaround. They focused on the pylon, the rack under the wing.
I've seen pictures of this. It has that weird little stick protruding from the front.
That weird little stick is the whole secret. It's a dedicated GPS and inertial navigation system antenna. It's totally independent of the plane.
Wait, hold on. The pylon itself is the computer.
Pretty much. The pylon acts as a translator. It gets its own satellite data, figures out where it is, and feeds those coordinates directly to the weapon at the moment of release.
So the pilot is just the delivery driver.
Basically, yeah. The pylon and the bomb are doing all the math. It's an incredible plug-and-play solution.
And the weapon here is the GBU-62 JDAM-ER, the extended range model.
Right. It's a standard 500-pound bomb, but with a guidance kit and a set of wings strapped to it.
And those wings are key for the tactic for this lofting maneuver I've read about. It sounds terrifying.
It's incredibly high-stakes flying. You're a Ukrainian pilot. You know Russian S-400s are up there. So you fly at treetop level, 50, maybe 100 feet off the ground.
Just nuts.
And when you get near the release point, you can't just drop it. You have to pull the jet up violently, like a 45-degree climb. You turn the whole plane into a catapult.
At the top of that arc, you release.
Exactly. And then you dive, hit the deck, and get out of there while the bomb's wings pop out and it glides for maybe 70 or 80 kilometers to the target.
It's like mobile artillery, but with wings. And we've seen this work, right? The Zaporizhia Road Bridge.
A perfect example. November 2025. This bridge was a critical Russian supply route.
Yeah.
2 JDAMers dropped from a MiG-29 using that lofting technique, and boom.
One bridge gone. An entire supply line severed.
Exactly. But it's not just about bridges anymore. There's a new mission set that's even more high value. They're hunting the hunters.
The FPV drone teams.
Yes. In this phase of the war, a skilled FPV pilot is more valuable than a tank commander. A single team can stop an entire armored column.
And you use a MiG to take them out. Isn't that overkill?
It's like using a sledgehammer to kill the guy controlling the mosquitoes. Intelligence finds the team's radio signals, vans parked outside a house. Once they get a fix, they send a MiG with a JDAM.
Imagine the psychological impact. You're 5 miles behind the lines, you think you're safe, and then your building just vaporizes.
It's brutal, but it's strategic. When you kill a specialist drone team, you remove that capability from the front until Russia can train replacements. And that takes months.
So the Franken-Fulcrum is a sniper rifle. But let's zoom out. The $4 billion number, is that reliable?
The number tracks with OSINT verifications, yeah. And what it represents is the systematic dismantling of Russia's paper shield. They always boasted about the S-400, S-300 Buck Tor.
But Ukraine has been peeling those layers back. The Panzer statistic in this report jumped out at me.
Right. The Panzer is the goalie, the point defense system. The SBU claims they destroyed 48% of Russia's deployed Panzers in 2025 alone.
Almost half. In 1 year. That sounds completely unsustainable.
It is, because Russia only produces about 30 of these units a year. They're losing them way faster than they can build them. The bathtub is draining faster than the tap can fill it.
And when the goalie is gone, the net is wide open.
That's blinding the bear. You take out the Panzers so you can then target the big radars, the NEBOM, the Podlet. Without those radars, an S-400 battery is just a collection of useless, very expensive tubes.
It can't see anything, and that creates corridors.
Corridors, that's the key word. We're seeing Ukrainian long-range drones flying through these radar gaps hundreds of kilometers into Russia, hitting oil refineries, ammo depots.
So destroying a Panzer on the front line directly leads to a refinery fire near Moscow.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the industrial reality. This myth that Russia has infinite resources, it's just not true.
The old Soviet horde mentality.
Right. But their high-tech systems rely on specific components. Things like beryllium oxide ceramics.
Sounds exotic, not something you pick up at the local hardware store.
Definitely not. It's critical for their radars. And with sanctions, getting that stuff is a nightmare. They're cannibalizing old systems to build new ones.
And the factories themselves are now targets. The Tula cluster.
Exactly. A huge amount of Panzer production is in Tula. If you create a corridor through the air defense, You can strike the very factory floor where these systems are built.
That's the ultimate feedback loop of destruction.
And financially, it's a drain Russia can't plug. They're spending over 6% of their GDP on defense. Every ruble spent replacing a radar is a ruble not buying artillery shells or paying soldiers. It's attrition of the state itself.
Okay, so bringing it all back to today's news. Poland sends its last MiGs. Ukraine has this incredible Frankenfulcrum tech. What's the big takeaway for 2026?
The takeaway is adaptation. The MiG-29 should be in a museum, but through Ukrainian ingenuity and Polish support, it's been reinvented. It's holding the line while they wait for the F-16s to spin up.
It's a stopgap that turned into a spearhead.
Exactly. And it leaves us with a really provocative thought to chew on. We know Russia is burning through its air defense stockpile faster than it can produce it. The numbers prove it. So if this Polish pipeline keeps the Ukrainian Air Force flying, and these hacked-together jets keep punching holes in that radar network.
At what point does the paper shield just collapse entirely?
And if that happens, the interior of Russia, the command centers, the factories, the political heart of the country is left wide open.
That's the tipping point.
And judging by the news today, we might be getting closer to it than anyone realizes.
A sobering thought, but a hopeful one for Ukraine. We will be watching those numbers very closely. You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.